Thanks for coming. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Welcome to the April 10th board meeting. Let's go right to the announcements. Since Dwayne's talking, we might as well get him up first. Clear Creek Conservancy.
Can't wait.
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patriots Landing. Clear Creek Conservancy, we're coming right along. We've finally got on paperwork, our paperwork from IDM, which is good for 5 years to expand the plant. We hope it takes 1.5 years and not 5, but anyway. The way things stand right now, the way the game plan is from the contractor, I'm hoping that maybe within 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, we'll see some activity down there. See them moving some dirt, starting to put some footing in for part of the new concrete that's going to be needed. So that's the game plan. With weather holds like this, they sure can't use the weather as an excuse. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Dwayne. Floyd Township Fire Department. Jeff?
Jeff Brooks, Floyd Township Fire. Sorry I haven't been out the last couple of meetings. We've had, my heart doctor said I couldn't come to the last one, so we got that squared away. So
We've kept these meetings pretty calm, Jeff.
Before the meeting. I had to do it too many fires right there, apparently. January had 20 runs in the month of January, 16 for February, and had 21 for March. That's a total of 57 so far this year. Proud of the community out here because that's about 30 less than it was the same period last year. A couple of house fires. Me and Dwayne were just talking about the one here in March over in Mill Springs. Everybody might have seen on our Facebook page, we now have a Project Lifesaver receiver. And what that piece of equipment does is allows us to locate people who have, or children who have cognitive disorders where they have a propensity to wander. There are some rules and regulations. There's 3 things you have to qualify for to get it. One in the county, have a 24/7 caregiver, and have a medical diagnosis of one of those, and that's Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, traumatic brain injury, anything that can constitute a cognitive disorder. The cost to the clients, which is what it's called, what the folks who are using them are called, is 0. Putnam County CERC found some grant money and worked with to get grant money to cover those. So consequently, if somebody knows somebody or they have a loved one who likes to wander and get out, they just pick up the phone and call. We have a code. The code is right to that transmitter. That's the person's wearing at all times, and we can locate, and we get the first hit 2 miles away. So we've got one at the department now. We also one here at the clubhouse that Putnam County CERT uses. And if anybody didn't see, we had active shooter training Saturday. One of those trainings you hope you never have to use. Although you think about all the training we get, we hope we never have to use it. But we did have a successful active training course at North Putt. Had several departments in this area who were all involved. And they've got another one coming up at, I believe it's going to be at South Putt later on this year. And they're always looking for actors and actresses. That's it.
There you go.
I don't know.
Can you play dead something?
I can play dead.
We have a few of those play dead.
I don't know if I can handle the nightmares afterwards.
Neighborhood Watch, no report. HLCS, Rick Miller.
Yeah, I've got one item for HLCS. We had we'd given a lot of consideration to stopping publication of the annual telephone directory. And I put out that information to a number of my advertisers and a number of people in the community. And all of the feedback I got was, don't quit doing that, okay? And so what I did instead, because that publication is the most labor-intensive job that we do, I found a printer that I can outsource the printing to. So we've decided, and the cost came in pretty high, but I think our advertisers will cover it. I think it'll be fine. But so we've decided we're going to continue that publication, because unlike most telephone directories that have come and gone, ours has lots of useful information for our community. So we'll continue it, but you'll see some changes with the printing. But I've seen a prototype, and I think it'll be fine.
Right. Well, I personally would have to agree with keeping it. It's nice to have in your drawer when you're trying to figure out who somebody is, and 9 times out of 10 they're in there and you can find it, and it's a nice cross-reference. Thank you, Rick. HLNAC, Donna McKinley?
Yes, Jan will be back, well, no, she won't be here next month. She has a conflict next month, so I'll be here next month also.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know. First I want to mention the egg roll, see, I wrote it down, egg roll hunt. It's the Easter egg hunt. It's still cold. First I want to thank the board members, because we had just wonderful participation. Rick Stevens came out early to help lay the eggs. Rick was instrumental in getting a lot of the publications out and published in HLCS and several other Facebook sites. And it was just amazing participation that day. And I can't even thank you enough for everybody that came out. It was a successful day. And Ken Roselle, big shout out to Ken. He came out early morning, and he always starts us off with the sirens, and the kids were so excited when he does that. And it's just amazing, that we have so much participation in the community from the board members as well, and we really appreciate it. It was a good hunt. The kids, it was very cold, in case, for those of you that were out there, we were freezing to death.
Yes, it was.
It worked out really well, and we had quite a few kids. The Easter Bunny was great. So I want to thank again everybody that donated candy as well and came out to support that day, and the community itself for such outstanding participation. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Those little kids, when they saw the Easter Bunny, I forget how exciting it is when you see the Easter Bunny. I was just glad that we had one, The other thing is, we're already working on the boat poker run. Again, I mentioned that last month. It is August 12th, and we're full speed ahead on that. So I think we're making a lot of progress, and we'll get real serious about that at the next meeting as well. I do want to mention that two of our members have had to leave the committee. Mary Petruzzi and Carrie Austin are so busy with other activities that they'll no longer be in the HLNAC committee. We're going to miss them tremendously. They have always been so helpful, and they just donate so much time to this community, and they still do. So I just want to shout out to both of them for all their help, and I know they'll continue to assist us. And if anybody else is interested in helping with the committee, we can certainly use the help. And I will not tell you it's easy, because it's very strenuous at times, but it's a lot of fun, and seeing the community come out and enjoy these activities is worth every second of our time.
Thank you, Donna. You all finished?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thanks for laying all those eggs.
Yeah. Tough job with somebody.
Okay, POA security, Jenna?
All right, for the month of March, we had, for service calls, domestic disturbance and/or violence, 2, arrests, 3, harassment, 2, traffic stops, 14, medical assist, 3, administrative calls for service, 3, animal complaint, 2, assist another agency, 1, alarm, 1, disturbance, 2, fraud, 1, psychiatric/suicidal, 1, residential entry, 1, lockout, 1, warrant service, 3, sexual assault, 1, structure fire, 1, missing person, 1, they were located, and 911 hang-up call, 1.
None of them are associated with Ken not being here tonight. All right, Garden Club, Lynn?
Good evening, my name is Lynn Forsgren. I live at 117 Lincoln Hills. I have to look at my notes to make sure I get that right. And I am president of the Heritage Lake Garden Club. The Garden Club will hold an evening meeting on May 11th at 7 p.m. The guest speaker will be Jenna Neese. She's the Extension Education, Ag, and Natural Resources Coordinator for Purdue Extension, Putnam County. She will give a PowerPoint presentation in the library on reasons behind developing rain gardens and the plants used. There is an overflow room, and I hope we have to use it. Please join us and find out how to create a lovely garden spot on your property where now only water collects and drowns out your best efforts. Come and join us as we learn how to continue to make Heritage Lake beautiful and keep our lake one of the cleanest in the state. Yes, a rain garden can do that.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, presentation of agenda. Anybody have any alterations? Presentation of the minutes. I'll, on the March 13th board meeting, I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
I have Nina's.
March 27th operation meeting, I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
March 27th executive meeting. We don't have the minutes for that yet.
Didn't Nina send them out the other yesterday? Today?
She was sending them out. Did she send them?
Yeah,
She
she
did,
said-
right here.
She got them out.
Yeah, we've got them.
All right. Well, I haven't read them. But I can still, I'll abstain. Go ahead, I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report. Dennis
Okay.
Barrow.
All right, for the month of March, we had accrued income of $117,596. Total expenses, $104,827 for a net income of $12,769. The larger expenses that hit us in March was, one, the pond treatment, which is paid in whole in the month of March for the entire year. We had a down payment on the fireworks, the initial stocking of the marina for the opening of the marina, and also a second ID card printer for the marina. As of March 31, our short-term cash checking account balance was $603,778. Total CD and money market investments, $209,726, for a total of cash on hand of $813,504.
Thanks, Dennis. All right, committee reports. You're up again, Dennis. A&E.
All right, I'm just gonna kind of hit highlights of the A&E meeting, of the various things that were covered. For JV 656, there was a dock approved. MS 319, a non-waterfront fence was approved. Lincoln Hills 240, non-waterfront fence was approved. JV 029, there was a house, 1,936 square foot house that for all practical purposes would normally be approved, but there is a 25, there's a required 30-foot setback on one section of it, and it's 25 feet. Sitting in the meeting, it looked like there just really wasn't any other way you could put the house on the lot, so they have agreed to submit a variance that will come before the board and then we will decide whether that gets approved. JV 346, there was a pergola approved. MS 642, a house was approved. GBO 18, deck extension was approved. Lincoln Hills 243, there was a patio enclosure sunroom that was denied, mainly because they were wanting to put it on a 4-inch floating slab, and it, based on what they were wanting to do, it would require footers, so they've kind of gone back to the drawing board. GB 208, there was a non-waterfront fence approved. And then Ratliff Homes has submitted plans for 4 different homes to be built. And the plot plans did not include the required information, so the A&E committee asked them to go back, get legitimate plot plans with the required information, bring it back. And other than that, I think eventually those will get approved. So that's the highlights of the A&E meeting on 4/6.
Thanks, Dennis.
Do you want me to mention this, or you want to?
We'll get into that for new business.
Okay.
Thank you. Campground, Rick Stevens.
All right, campground is open, water's on, and Mike and Betsy Freiberger are getting introduced to the camping life. So they're doing a great job down there, so I just want to mention that. Still have a few spots available, and we have our first meeting Saturday at 10 a.m. at the campground shelter.
Thank you. Cleanup, Jeff Blades.
All I know that we have going on is next Saturday, I believe we have that pickup, the trash pickup, in which everyone's gonna meet at the maintenance, location. Anybody who wants to participate needs to be sure that they bring the appropriate, protective, personal equipment, like safety glasses and gloves and some long, well, shorts are okay, but just don't want to get out in the weeds without long pants on, but just, we'll be picking up trash.
Do they have any sticky doogers with the nail on the end?
No, they don't.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah, no, they don't. It's pretty much just bend over and get it and grab it and go. Fill up the yellow trash bags.
Do you know
You'd be
what,
surprised what you'll find when you, if we show up and participate and break up around, to pick up around Heritage Drive. You'll be surprised once you get out there and look closely, you'll be surprised. Tom Novak and I were teamed together one year, and we won't go into what we found, but it was heavy. Okay, it stunk to high heaven, so.
do you know what time?
I believe it starts at 9. Now, does anybody, am I wrong?
9 o'clock, that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Government committee, Rick wasn't able to attend the meeting. Ken and I were there. The commissioners meeting that day with things pertaining to Heritage Lake. On May 6th, there'll be a 100 to 150 bicycles riding through Greencastle, starting at 9 o'clock. So if anybody has plans to go to Greencastle on May 6th, either ride a bicycle or stay home. Commissioners received a bid for ambulance helicopter. They received a bid for $80,000, which this is for the members of Putnam County. That equates to $6 per household. And they are reviewing that proposal. It is, I don't know how many people know about helicopter ambulances, but it's rather expensive. If it happens to happen to you and you don't have insurance for it, it's a very expensive way to send somebody to the hospital. The county has been offered ambulance service for that, and it's a service that a lot of counties do involve themselves in. So they're looking at that right now. Commissioners also approved the what's called election software, and it's going to be for the clerk's office. This software is a pretty neat demonstration they had at the commissioners meeting. This software is just basically gives the clerk's office Johnny-on-the-spot results, and it gives them background to every election in the country. So the bios are there, the election results are there immediately when they're available, and this all comes to Greencastle, to the clerk's office. And it's available to anybody, it's public information. It provides, as I said, it provides bios for candidates, so therefore before the election, if you have no idea who's running and you want to participate, this is a great software because you can go online and find out who the people are, what they stand for, where they come from, their bios are on there. And anybody who runs for office can go back and look back and see where their votes came from, where they screwed up and didn't get votes, and prepare themselves for the next time they want to run if they lost. So it's a pretty neat software package. And that package was approved, and it's a 5-year package. And it's just to let you know, because you are all participants in Putnam County, that the initial investment is $25,000 and then $8,000 per year, and it's a 5-year program. That's all I have. Government. Thank you, Paul.
Good job.
Lake Committee, anything?
I can give you something.
Okay.
Sorry, Mary's not here because she could probably give this one much better treatment. But I can tell you, if you haven't been to the marina, you should go check out the new spring apparel that is in there. And we call it that because most of it is long sleeve, some sweatshirts and such things for the cooler spring weather. And Mary Petruzzi is working right now on acquiring summer apparel. And so we're looking forward to that. Some other things that we talked about in the last Lake Committee meeting, we approved reimbursement to the POA for the work they did to upgrade the security boat. So we approved $2,225. Don't know if you got that yet, but okay. We had a lot of discussion about fish stocking and what recommendations we were going to make on that. The fish report, if you didn't get one, there's a number of them here. It's online on the POA website as well. The Feast and Ski planning is well underway for July 15th. A number of format changes we're looking at include a couple important ones this year. There's a lot of conflict with competition for the skiers on the same day. And so we're expecting to cut pretty far back because of available skiers. That'll cut back the length of that program, which is really not a bad thing. And a new addition this year, among other things, you'll see there'll be a 5K run that will finish here at the club, or at the beach. So that planning is well underway.
Thanks, Rick.
Sure.
Clean Water's up next, and Phil McKinley sent out an email to me, and I have not had time to review that. So I'm going to forward that, his notes to, if you don't mind, to the ops meeting, the next ops meeting, so the board can hear his notes, and then we will review those in the May board meeting.
He did provide a really good article for the April highlights that is out now.
That's great.
Okay.
Some of the things that he had on his email, I just noticed quickly that they pertain to a surveillance he had today while he was on the lake. So I'd rather put that off so I don't screw it up. Long-term planning,
Our meeting's gonna be April 19th, which is a next Wednesday, the 19th at 6 o'clock in there. So please come out. We'd love more long-term planners.
siltation, Dwayne Kelly.
Dwayne County, 282 Patriots Landing. Siltation We had 4 projects for Shannon to work on. He called me last week, Thursday or Friday, and told me he was done with all of them. Some of them were like, clean out a coal, which he charges by the cubic yard, so we don't know what the price is gonna be till he gets done in that coal. I haven't seen the billing on them yet. But the last project we told him was to work on this east fork up here, out in front of the boat tie-ups, and where that, basically where there used to be an old road run through there. There was a big hump out in there. He was supposed to work in there. I told him that to do the 3 coals, a main body of coal, the main body on the lake down in Patriots Landing, and then whatever he had left, go into the East Fork and shut down at $70,000. He called me and told me he was at $70,000, so he was done till we told him we had more money. Our meeting is the 27th of this month at 7 p.m. here in this, in that room back there.
Okay. Manager's report. Jenna?
All right, I'm reading this report on behalf of Ken that he typed up. So, first, he would like to thank all of the families that attended and braved the brutal weather conditions for the Easter egg hunt. And a special thank you to Hillnack for putting the event together. Next, buoys that were removed from the lowering of the lake have been replaced. A few need to be adjusted, and that will be completed within the next week or so. We also have a flagpole repair update. The flagpole that is utilized for high water notification located at the point was damaged due to a boating accident, has been replaced at no expense to the POA. The permanent ID cards that are now being offered is off to a great start and has been well received. We have already printed over 1,000 permanent ID cards. All assessments were due April 1st, and there is a 30-day grace period before late fees apply on May 1st. All percentages and late fees that are applied after May 1st are posted in our restrictive covenants. Once your account is turned over to the attorney for collections, the office can no longer take your payment, and you must contact the attorney for your payment. This coming Saturday, the 15th, Sarah Lackner and the cleanup committee will be picking up trash along the roadways at Heritage Lake. They are looking for any volunteers that would like to help them keep our community clean. The committee will meet at the maintenance building at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Ken also wanted to thank Sheriff Ball. He is allowing him to pick up 4 trustees that morning, and they will lend some help in this initiative. Sheriff Ball feels that this is a great county service to help keep Putnam County as clean as possible. Thank you to Sheriff Ball for his assistance. Any other volunteers would be much appreciated. Finally, Psalms Haven lease agreement has shown a significant increase for March compared to last year. March of 2022, we received 6% of their sales and their lease rent, totaling $3,934. This March, we received 6% of their sales as well as their lease rent, totaling $5,329. This is a 35% increase from last year. Through the first 3 months of this year, we have received $10,329 from Psalms. That's it.
Now, it's kind of misleading a little bit with the 35% increase, just because we get the $2,500 as part of the lease. It's a base price. But their amount that they give us above the lease for the first month, the 6%, was a 100% increase. So it comes down to 35% compared to last year, but it's good news, I guess is the best way to put it. Okay, We have no old business, and under new business, the first item is the A&E rules change.
Okay.
You ready, Dennis?
Yes. The A&E committee has put together some recommended rules changes to help them kind of navigate getting things approved. And really these changes, it really just takes a lot of ambiguity out of the information being submitted to A&E committee. It'll help them get projects approved smoother and to the best interest of the community. So I'm just gonna kind of hit the highlights. All the board members have had a copy of this. Hopefully everyone had a chance to take a look, to look it over the last week or 2 weeks. One of the recommended changes is that when property owners present at the A&E committee meeting property owners being present at the A&E committee meetings is required for the permit application to be reviewed. You can imagine if the property owner is not there and someone's representing them, but they don't know all the details, how difficult it is to get things approved. So they want property owners to be required to be there. Several changes, proposed changes in regard to fence applications. Their proposed language, new language is fence applications must include a photo representing the fence type and material or a detailed description of the fence type and material. A plot plan showing the fence location and all property structures is required. One proposed change is deals with heights. 416.8, height is measured from the normal ground grade to the highest point of the fence. A 3-inch gap between the ground and the bottom of the fence can be added. That's redundant. One of the changes has to do is 421.5 has to do with garages. It says detached garages must have a minimum of 180 square feet of floor space and a garage door that is a minimum of 8 foot wide and 7 foot high. And then last but not least, they're wanting to add language that says in coves with a width of 50 foot or less, a dock may be placed for loading and unloading purposes only. No boat parking will be allowed at the dock to prevent constricting boat travel. Evacuation to accommodate boat parking will be considered on a case-by-case basis. So basically if a cove's less than 50 foot wide, you can load and unload your boat there at your dock, but you can't park it there. So those are kind of the highlights of the proposed changes. Paul, I believe this needs to be voted on twice. Is that how that works?
That's correct.
Okay.
Any rule changes need to be voted on twice. Under certain circumstances, we could voting on it once and ignore just for if it's time consuming, if there's a time problem, okay? So I think under the circumstances, we're fine with this. Discussion on any of these rules, we've been dealing with this as a board for a while. We've had some discussion prior. Anybody have any?
Does this dock rule change, does that affect what we talked about in the ops meeting?
No, because that was submitted prior to this recommended change.
Does it still give us the latitude to make that exemption in case that for some reason happens again?
Yes, basically, yeah, they would have to apply for a variance and then we
Right.
would evaluate it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, just to be clear, all rules in the A&E, all rules for the A&E committee are subject to variances. And those are case by case, and the A&E committee has the right to see the proposed problems with each
I got you.
lot and dock and what have you, and then you just do that case by case. These are These are basically guidelines for people to look at while they're considering what they're gonna do on their properties. Any other discussion?
Does it affect people who live at the very end of the cove? Because we have some docks that, like, they just drive right to the point of a cove.
That's a good question.
It doesn't mention, it just mentions not impeding traffic, but
Yeah. Well, historically, if someone's at the very end of the cove and there's no traffic, even if they had to apply for a variance, it's been approved. So,
Yeah, and I think when you look at the rules, if you're parking a boat at the end of the cove, you have the whole length of the cove, the distance. I don't think that's a problem. I think the A&E committee can handle it.
and I think, and as a total newbie as a liaison to the A&E committee, it's really been educational for me in a lot of ways. And I think anything we can do to encourage people to do their due diligence before they show up,
Yeah.
it'll make everything run a lot smoother. It's a lot less frustrating for them because they've got their ducks in a row and the committee can get things approved. It's, they really want to get as much approved as they reasonably can within the guidelines. But if people don't come prepared, then they have to turn them away and they got to come back. So.
Any more discussion? I'll take a motion.
Motion, we approve the A&E committee proposed terminology changes.
Second.
All
I'll
those-
second it.
All those in favor? Unanimous. This will be old business A on our next meeting. Okay, pickleball / tennis court repair. I guess that's under me. All right. We have received a bid from a company, trying to find the, just so the public is aware. We have received a bid from a company to repair our pickleball courts / tennis courts. This has been the length of time that this repair will last is anywhere from 5 to 8 years. The last time we had our courts worked on was about 5 years ago. They're not doing too well right now. We have been, from this company, we have been somewhat assured that we're gonna try and get on a maintenance schedule, and we're gonna try and do our due diligence to do whatever it takes for his repairs to be brought in as long as we could possibly bring them in, take care of it a little bit better. We're probably gonna do some tree removal around the courts so that we don't have to deal with the debris that comes off those trees, which hurts the courts. Those of you, this has been a ongoing proposal. Ken and I have worked diligently on trying to get any kind of company to bid on this as we move forward, and it was absolutely like pulling teeth. This company's got great references, and a lot of references. Some of the references we weren't able to check. Jim Irsay was not available, and neither was Tony George. So, but Ken has contacted Wabash College and Brownsburg Park and Recreation and Park Tutor, and they all highly recommended this company. This is a one vote for the board to agree to bring in this company. We have budgeted the amount of up to $20,000. We have a bid of $13,393. For that bid, they are going to pressure wash the courts They are gonna fill any kind of baths or indentations in the surface we have now. The goal is to reduce the water. They cannot guarantee elimination of water. And they're gonna fill the cracks and use patch binder, and they're gonna sand everything down. And they cannot, whenever you deal with blacktop on top of blacktop, they cannot guarantee that cracks won't reappear. This is a fix, okay? It's not a solution. Eventually, we will probably replace everything down the road, and that will come into our futuristic infrastructure problems that we're gonna have to deal with later on. They will apply 1 coat of acrylic resurfacer, 2 coats of acrylic color, blue and green, and they will lay out and stripe 2-inch textured lines. And we have gone over this prior to this meeting for the board members. Does any board members have any questions? Okay, I will take a motion to approve this company to come out. If we do approve this, it looks like July, and it looks like the courts will not be available for around 2 weeks.
Can you use that as leverage with them and say, we can get the deal, but if you can do it in May?
They were the only people that.
I know, but they don't know that. Just wondering.
Well, we can ask. Well, I guess we can ask. I mean, I'm thinking, boy, spoken like a true big pickleball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I make a motion that we approve this as presented.
Second.
all those in favor?
Uh,
I will ask that question though.
Okay.
I would like to see it either done by the 15th or not starting till after,
What's the 50?
because of the feast and
Feast and ski.
Okay, when's the feast and ski?
July 15th.
Okay, all right, we need to do that, July 15th. That's a big, thanks for bringing that up. So let's make a note of that, and we'll check on that tomorrow. All right, open forum. And let me just suggest that you tell me your lot number and your name, any nice things you have to say, and we'll move forward.
Join County 282. It does a lot of good to sit at home and make notes to yourself and not look at them when you're making a presentation. Conservancy. I know everybody here, and I hope everybody at home hears this. We're still getting problems with things flushed down the stools that should not be flushed down the stools. We're still getting stuff wrapped up in pumps, having to pull pumps out of lift stations. It's all very expensive like everything else. So there's only 2 things that ought to go down your stool. That's body waste and toilet paper. Don't pay any attention to these advertisements that says it's flushable, because it is flushable, but it's not biodegradable. That's my pitch on that. My second one is for the siltation. Probably, I'm gonna say 8 months ago or so, may have been a year ago, Shannon came to me, or called me, and asked me what we were gonna do when the 32 acres got full and we couldn't dump any more silt down there.
Build boat storage?
Well, whatever.
No.
But I think, I think what,
Sorry.
I don't have any control over it. You guys are the ones that have control over the 32 acres. But I think the thing that we need to think about is not only if we have to haul it someplace else, not only is it more expensive for the siltation committee, but it's more expensive for any of you when he cleans out around your docks and so forth, because he's gonna charge more if he has to haul it someplace than he is if he just has to drive across the road and dump it down there. So-
How are we standing now?
Do you have
Pardon?
you have an estimate on what percentage is at full?
I don't know, I think, and I'm working from memory and that's scary, but I think when Shannon talked to me about it a year or so ago, that he thought that we might be 4 years, but it's something that needs to be ahead of time. It's not something we want to run into. I have a couple of ideas that may work, may not work. Throw them out, I don't care. But on the south side, where that last berm is at, there's quite a bit of distance between that and the property line. Could we go over that berm and dump there? Could we dump in behind the cell tower? It's still all our property. And I have no idea, I'm just throwing things out. But I think that somebody needs to put a little bit of time on thinking about it, because depending if it got to where we couldn't dump down there because it was full, I mean, you can build a plateau, you can go as high as you want to, you can do whatever you want to do. But I think there needs to be a long-term plan.
Hey, we've talked about it.
Of
We've
some-
been during long-term planning, but the only thing I heard was that we were selling it.
Pardon?
The only thing I heard is that we were selling the silt as fertilizer. But,
It's in the contract that
okay,
we have with Shannon,
yeah,
that the silt, that it can be sold. But
okay,
as far as I know, I don't think, I mean, Shannon may have hauled some out for his own use.
Yeah.
I don't know.
okay,
But I don't think there's been any sold.
okay.
Well, I think maybe we can put our heads together. We've got a committee that's a garden club, we've got a committee that's the siltation committee, we've got long-term, and we've got a lake committee. And I think that we just need to put our heads together and figure out of all these opportunities, which way we need to go. Might be a combination. It might be, we might be able to sell some of this stuff, I don't know.
And that might be a possibility.
Yeah.
You drive every place and see people wanting clean topsoil.
Right.
But nobody knows we got it.
Right.
So, but if we had some way of putting it on social media or something that it was available and what the price
Good.
would be, that might solve part of our problem. But my thought is, it's just the fact that I think we need to start planning and not wait till Shannon says, hey, I can't dump here, and then we have to jump in and try to do something.
I think it's a good subject for the long-term planning committee to get some feelers out, and we'll figure out with all these points what we can do, and that's the committee that needs to be probably involved in it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I know, me too.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
My motion.
All those in favor? All right. We have a short executive meeting?